I was researching Betsy to introduce her. 614's lead byline of a story they did was, "She is a woman on a mission." And she is every day. She is the newly appointed executive director of the Short North Alliance and is working to make the Short North a better place every day. In her previous career before that, among other things, she worked at Columbus Public Health, where she created projects designed to make the city more accessible to walkers and bikers. And so that's certainly applicable to all this besides your work in the Short North. And so we're glad to have you here. So Betsy's going to read her challenge, and then that group's going to present.
So thank you very much for that introduction. I'm Betsy Pandora. I'm the Executive Director of the Short North Alliance. The Short North Alliance is a nonprofit organization that serves the Short North Arts District. We do a lot of things. We make it easier for people to visit us. We do snow removal. Snow removal was a big topic of your presentation. We do beautification projects. We're a special improvement district, and in general, we create a more productive business climate for our small businesses. So the Short North, I think, as many of you have mentioned in your presentations, is probably one of the most transit-connected areas of our city, right? It has probably 6 different bus lines. We've got, I don't know if Heather's still in the room, 4 COGO stations and counting, and more to come. We've got Car-to-Go's out the wazoo. Mr. Car-to-Go lives in our neighborhood, so we thank him for that. Yet, when we talk to our 3 core users of the Short North Arts District, those being employees or business owners, visitors, and residents, the dominant way in which people get around and visit the Short North is by car. So how do you convince, if you're going to change this transit conversation in Columbus, you'd think that you've got to be able to convince the people in the most connected area, transit-wise, in the city to make a change first. So given all of the abundance of non-auto resources, what can be done to get the Short North Arts District's 3 core users, being residents, employees or business owners, and visitors, out of their cars and accessing transit options already available to them? And if existing resources truly aren't enough to encourage any or all of the district's core users to hang up the car keys, what resources are needed to convince them to do so? Take it away, team.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you. As Betsy just explained, looking specifically at the Short North, the issue we're addressing is how do we get our 3 core users of transit and of the Short North amenities, visitors, residents, and business owners, to leave their car keys at home and use public transit?
So before we go into this, I have a question. Of this room, who here took the bus to get here? Got a handful. I actually drove myself. I'm one of your problem users. We talk about the visitor to the Short North area. Can we get to the next slide, actually? So there's always questions, and what we focus on is transit with CODA and the process around it. There's always some prevention of getting on the bus. And what are those? Like, where are the bus stops? When is the bus coming? I have no idea. Where do I get a pass? So these are all issues that I, myself, your problem user right now, has an issue with. What's the process behind it? These are things that prevent me from getting on the bus. What will the people on the bus be like? Will I get back okay? That's a basic tenet. Was the bus safe? Next slide, please. So our goal is to get people on that first step of the bus. Well, what if there was a concept of an app that would tell you where a bus is at all times, and also if you're near a bus stop? So not to get too technical about anything, but we all have this geo-fence around us in terms of an app, right? And you can tell us if someone comes in that fence, it can alert on us. And so if we have that and alerts on that, that's valuable. And that app, it's kind of hard to see here, but there's an alert there that says that this bus stop is within 500 feet of me. And if we have that, you can easily see, especially your visitor. If you're not a towner, it's very hard to determine where the bus stops are, where the buses are, and this app helps you do that. And so it's the name of the app is WITWAMI, and what that stands for is where in the world am I? And the concept was something around assisted serendipity. So when you go through an airport, you run into someone you know, Well, that's valuable, but we can easily convert it to a concept of where the buses are, the bus is close, I can hop right on it. And so that concept app is actually on the App Store. It was released last Monday. So if you type in Whitwam, you can try the app and see if the functionality is there for you too. Next slide.
Right. Our second good idea was issuing an integrated public transportation pass to hotel visitors. Obviously, the core users being addressed by this idea are visitors to the city, tourists. And the main issue it's addressing is, where do I get a bus pass? Now, why is that important? If you're a tourist and you're not a Columbus native, the process of finding a venue to get a transportation pass is not intuitive. You don't know that our bus system is called COTA, so you're not just going to go to COTA.com. And even when you get there, depending on how far you're coming from, you'll see, you can get a bus pass at Kroger. You can get a bus pass at Giant Eagle. What are Kroger and Giant Eagle? There's no intuitive correlation between large birds and groceries. You wouldn't know that this is a grocery store and where to find it. And additionally, if you don't already have a pass to use the bus to go to Giant Eagle to buy your bus pass, what are you supposed to do? You're just going to rent a car. So how would this work? Ideally, your visitors would be paying for your integrated transit pass with their hotel fees. You would receive it with your key card. Maybe in the lobby or in your hotel room, there would be more in-depth information on how to use Kogo or COTA, or logistics permitting, Cartago could be incorporated as well. Again, logistics committing, there would be maybe an expiration mechanism so that the pass could be set to last for the duration of your stay at the hotel in the city. So this wouldn't just be a pass to use the bus or the bike. For a tourist, this would be a pass to Columbus. It would open up the city. And for public transportation entities, it would be an untapped source of revenue. Can we go to the next slide?
All right, so another issue we had was, where are the stops, right? So along the short north, the sidewalks are very narrow. There's a lot of foot traffic, but people don't always know where the bus stop is. So a way to solve this problem would be to provide signage. So how do we get people those visual cues that here is where you wait for the bus, here's where the bus stop is? So an idea we had was some visuals maybe on the sidewalk or also on the area where the bus stops on the street, telling people this is where you wait for the stop. And also, so when you see people standing there, you don't wonder, oh, like, why are these people standing there? I know when I'm waiting for a bus, sometimes I feel odd just standing in the middle of the sidewalk, and people might be looking at me. I might feel a little self-conscious. So this is a way to solve that problem. Next slide, please. So what we tried to do was alleviate some of these problems that we have in the short north with where is the bus, when does it come, how do I get on it? How do I purchase a pass? So I'm going to hand it over to John. He's going to take some questions.